Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome to season 2 of The Conversation with Carl. Remember, please follow, like, and subscribe for access to the latest content. It's a new year, and that means a new you. And the resolutions that most of us make is to eat healthier, lose weight, and exercise more. But once the new year sets in, and we're all back to our busy routines, those resolutions become a distant memory. So let's try to be different this year and see if we can break that cycle. Today, we are very excited to welcome Carrie Gans, a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and certified yoga teacher. She is also the author of the book, The Small Change Diet, 10 Steps to a Thinner, Healthier You, and is currently the host of the podcast, The Carrie Report, that speaks to wellness through nutrition. Welcome, Carrie Gans, to The Conversation.
It's great to be here, Carl.
So thank you for joining me. So I go spinning. I spin all year, okay? This month, I go to the gym, and the very first thing, I try to sign up for a spinning class tomorrow night, and it's already full before it opens up. And
I knew
know
you were
this,
going to say that.
and it's for the next 3 weeks, it's going to be like this, and then it's done.
Yep, I know.
So-
it happens every year. People get so gung-ho, and then end of January, beginning of February, they've realized that they have set, most people, not everyone, too big a goal, and they can't keep up. And so right away, they kind of say, I can't do it. And that's only because the goal usually was too big. And if they had decided, if they weren't spinning at all, and now they're trying to go every night during the week, I mean, that's just crazy, right? But if they
Yeah.
said, maybe I'll sign up for one a week, ease myself in, maybe that would be more doable.
Because it makes me crazy because I want to go spinning.
I
And
know.
now I know that I have to sign up for class
know.
before
I
the
know.
class even opens up.
I know. But you know what, Carl?
Yeah.
People are going to fall off. Okay.
Yes,
So,
I know.
you know what? You just have to deal with it for January. And hopefully, though, there'll be a couple of other people that become consistent because they didn't set too big a goals for themselves.
So how do we set small goals?
Okay. You got to start from where you are. All right.
Okay.
So back to what I just said is like, if you're not spinning at all and saying, I'm going to take 5 spin classes a week, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Correct.
Just one. And then when that feels good and you're able to do it, then you add another one. So one, you have to start slowly. And come
Yes.
on, nobody wants to do that. You know, it's like everyone wants to lose 10 pounds in a week, and that's doesn't make sense. You're not supposed to. It's everything should be done gradually. So you feel good about the changes. You're like, well, this wasn't so hard. Look at me. I did this. I added a vegetable to my dinner. Now maybe I add a salad. Maybe I add a piece of fruit, like very slow, gradual changes.
So someone is waking up this morning and is listening now, and I want to start an exercise routine. What is the
Okay.
first thing to do?
Okay. First thing is find something that you actually enjoy. All right.
Okay.
So just because, Carl, you're spinning, you might have a ton of friends and you'll be like, you need to spin, but they're like, I don't like spinning. So
Yeah.
it's finding something that you enjoy, and it doesn't always mean joining something. It could mean just getting out the door and going for a walk. All right. So it's picking something, and then somebody else might say, well, I don't know what I enjoy. All right. Granted. I mean, I love yoga. Not everybody loves yoga. Give something a try. If you don't like it, realize there's something else to do. So one, don't overly commit yourself to something. 2, make sure that you enjoy it. And 3, start slow.
So, and now we'll go to talk about food because that's our favorite topic. We all love
Yes.
it. In the new year, everyone has just come off December where
Yep.
we've all gone to parties. We've all had too much to eat.
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
And now we're all of a sudden trying to figure out, how do we lose this weight, or how do I look different, or how am I going to be a new you?
Right. And first of all, I hate the new you because
Okay.
I always feel what's wrong with who we are right now. Maybe somebody's saying, well, I have too much weight on me or whatever. That doesn't make you a bad you. So let's just clear it up. There's no new
Gotcha.
yous. There might be improved versions. All right. We can do a little
Okay.
of with improvement, but we don't need new. I really feel it's just, again, and I know it's so boring when I say this, it's doing things slowly. Forget about jumping on some new crazy fad diet or following some new crazy, and I hate to say it, influencer out there who's saying, this is what I do, study of one, and following that person. All right. It's taking a moment pausing and saying, all right, I want to be healthier in the new year. So what does that mean? It means maybe it's eating more fruits and vegetables. I know, sounds boring, but hey, where do we even begin with that? 1, make a list of groceries. 2, actually go to the store and buy some fruits and vegetables. Have them in your house. Decide to eat fruit with lunch or salad with dinner. Start small, come up with a plan. But the key is a plan that is doable. So we're not having the same conversation a year from now. And that's what we always end up doing is a year from now, everybody's like, well, this is what I need to do. Well,
Yeah.
if you had been consistent and had set realistic goals, maybe we would not be back to square one.
I mean, the reality is we have to move more and eat less.
I know. And it's boring.
Very
And
boring.
nobody wants to hear that. That's the problem.
Yes.
And people want like some secret bullet, all right, silver bullet. They want some kind of quick fix. And to be healthy, I'm not saying it does take work, okay? But
Yeah.
it should also cause stress.
Yeah.
And because that's another thing we need to do more of to decrease our stress levels. So we talk about eating better, moving more. We also need to decrease stress and we need to sleep more. I always say it's not just one thing. It's the pillars, those 4 help create a healthier you.
And then how do supplements play a role into this?
Okay, let's just start by saying a supplement is what it is. It's a supplement. It is
Okay.
not a replacement. I'm very pro supplements. I feel they fill voids in the diet, but you need to look at what your void might be. Carl, can be completely different what mine is. All right.
I see.
Maybe you're getting plenty of vitamin D and I'm not. All right. Maybe I've had blood work done and found my vitamin D levels were low, but you've gone to the doctor and your vitamin D levels are normal. So therefore you don't need a vitamin D supplement, but maybe I might. So it's first starting with looking at your food choices, how you eat. And then if you're not meeting those needs for optimal health, because a lot of us will meet them, but we might need a little bit more for optimal
Okay.
health, then perhaps a supplement is needed. And in a lot of instances, where do people look for that advice is the wrong place. They'll go to TikTok, and because somebody on there is saying they need to supplement with X, Y, or Z, everybody's buying it. But if you consult with a registered dietitian, like myself, we can help guide you into finding out what would be best to fill in your personal nutritional gaps.
Because that's what I think when I look at TikTok and I look at they're all telling me what supplements are there, and I don't know which supplements to trust.
Yes, you have to look at who is recommending it. That's the most important thing. What is their background? Are they basing these recommendations on study of one, which I always love to say, which I already said before, or is it based on a scientific study, a study that's been done over not just a week period, but a 6-month period, a year, 2 years? How big is the group that they've looked at? Is it 5 people, 10 people, or is it 200 people, 300 people? We need to look at the science. And so many people don't want to do that, which I understand.
Yeah.
So therefore, who do you trust? You trust a person who reads the science, understands it, and then conveys it in a reasonable way to the consumer.
I mean, that's one issue is I heard that over and over again during the COVID vaccine. I would hear people say to me, I have to read the science.
How do you know? Right.
How do you know? How do you
Like,
know
how do you
that
know how to
part?
read
Yes.
a study?
Yes. I don't know how to read a study.
Okay, but I do. Because
Okay.
in my background at school, I was taught how to look at research as a registered dietitian. There are many physicians out there, okay? They will read studies. I mean, hey, we can have a conversation. There's so much biases out there.
Yeah.
So people can support their views however they might want to.
Yes.
I understand that. But you can't sometimes argue with actual research.
Yes.
And then the other thing, Carl, is if somebody is promoting something, I mean, is it one of their own supplements? What are they getting out of it? Sometimes we have to look at, unfortunately, the world of wellness is a huge profit-making business. And so we need to see the person who's recommending it. Are they disclosing anything? Are they disclosing a relationship? Or are they just trying to push something down your throat to make you buy so it's money in their pocket? I mean, there is a difference.
Speaking of that, and speaking of the multi-billion-dollar health industry, what do you make of the GLP-1 drugs? More and
Okay.
more people I know are on it.
I was hoping you would ask me. I am a fan. I am a fan of them. I think that they are an anti-obesity medication. Obesity is a disease. And I think that they are a tool to be used in the pursuit of weight loss. Now, notice I said tool. It is not the end all. And what I mean by that, you can lose weight, but still not be healthy. So
Yeah.
I think what's important, I think it's great that it is opening it up to a world of people who have struggled with losing weight. A lot of the patients I have seen over the last 2 years, let's say, so many are on GLPs. And I'm like, yay, you've also come to a nutritionist because you also want to make sure you're eating healthy. Because if your appetite is decreased, you don't want to be just eating foods that lack nutrition. If your appetite is decreased, you want to make sure you're optimizing your food choices with those that provide nutritional support.
Yes. You also say you are, at a time, you call yourself controversial. What do you mean by that?
If you've already gotten a feel for what I'm saying in our conversation here, is I am anti a lot of things. And
Okay.
anti not establishment, by the way, but anti trendy diets, fads, detoxes, cleanses. So where I'm controversial is more with a lot of the outspoken influencers than I might be with my peers. All right. With a lot of my peers, other registered dietitians, perhaps, maybe there it gets controversial because I do believe in weight loss. And there's been a trend where before these GLPs, where people were like, health at every size. Granted, I do believe you can be overweight and healthy, but I also believe that if somebody comes to me and wants to lose weight, I will help them do that in a healthy manner. All right. There's a lot of people that don't believe in that. I also feel like there's low calorie sweeteners out there that people are like, oh my God, they're so bad for you. But I've read the science and I can't say that they're something that people should avoid. I feel there are no good or bad foods. I feel we need to look at things and feel what we fill our diets with more so of what we should be avoiding. So a lot of people are like, come on, why are you saying that? It's like, it's boring. You know, the word moderation, if it comes out of my mouth, people are like, you shouldn't say that anymore. So that's why I say it's a little bit of controversial, but for some it won't be.
So one of the problems I would say I have is during the day, I would say I'm very healthy. I would say eat a healthy breakfast. I would say eat a healthy lunch. And then when I'm watching TV at night,
Okay, I get it. But here's the question, Carl. Who does your food shopping?
I do. Well, my
Okay,
husband does.
okay. So what's in the house? All right.
Yes.
So if there are foods that you're like, hey, I mean, I sometimes feel people are like, oh, Carrie, it's not that simple. But really, sometimes it
Yeah.
is. So if indeed, I mean, I would have to say to you, all right, what are you eating for dinner? Okay. Want to make sure that your dinner is satisfying. And a lot of times we eat, as you know, for no reason except it's habit. We're watching TV. We reach for this, we reach for that. But it's like, why is it in the house? It
Yeah.
shouldn't be there if you can't. And this becomes controversial because some people will say, oh, we shouldn't have foods that we need to totally avoid. Why not? If you're going to tell me that if you can't just sit down to half a cup of ice cream, you're going to eat the entire pint, then I'm going to be like, why do you have the pint in your house? All right. And we could try night after night for you to control your portion and just eat a little, but you'll be like, no, I can't. I can't measure out the serving out of the ice cream. I can't measure out the serving out of the chips, whatever it is that you're grabbing. If you're not going to be able to control the amount you eat, then I'm going to say maybe it's just don't eat it and
Yeah.
don't buy it. Don't have it in the house. Or wait,
Yes.
Carl, the other
Yeah.
thing is,
Yeah.
I know this sounds absolutely crazy, but sometimes, I mean, I don't do it. I'm not a
Yeah.
knitter or a crocheter, but actually sometimes watching TV, if you're busying your hands, then you
Yeah.
won't be busying your hands putting food in your mouth. Just saying.
Yeah. I understand.
All right, what's your food you eat too much of
What do I eat too much of? I
at
eat too
night?
much of potato chips. Love potato chips.
Do they have to be in
Yes.
the house?
They don't have to be in the house, but I like them in the house. But they
Okay,
don't have
well,
to be like, and I understand that they don't have to be there.
okay.
Yes. I
All
have a
right. So
sweet tooth.
here's the thing. If you can't take a portion out, like I literally could portion out from a big chocolate bar, a square. I know it's weird. I can eat that square. My husband can't eat a square.
Yeah.
He's going to eat half the chocolate bar. So therefore,
Yeah.
we can't have chocolate bars in the house. We just
Yeah.
can't. I wish we could, for me, but we can't.
Could we talk about, we have a daughter who is 13, and
Okay.
we this is a big issue now, is what's going on in schools and how they're eating in schools and where they're getting their advice from.
Yes, yes. Okay. The first thing is with somebody young and where what our words matter, there's no good or bad foods. Okay. So if you do have a daughter now, I'm rethinking the potato chip thing because we don't want her to think that there are bad foods. All
Okay.
right. So believe it or not, I don't mind there being potato chips in the house. You're going to have to figure that one out.
Okay.
But so we don't want them to think that there's good or bad foods. First of all,
Okay.
we want them to understand that food nourishes us. So we talk about the health component of food, not the weight. We get weight out. There's no discussion of weight in the home. All right. And I know this, they're already, especially that's 13, they started at 10, all of a sudden noticing their bodies and weight. And we want to be first of all, the parents, the role models. So there is no weight talk. There's no good or bad foods, like I said. There is encouragement. There is having a meal and giving a vegetable. Maybe maybe she doesn't want it. I don't know. But it's still presenting healthy foods and showing her. And by showing her, hopefully one day she'll try to model your
Yeah.
behavior.
So I don't want to use her as an example, but I
Got
will
it.
talk about schools that are
Yes.
going on. One of the things I am finding with a lot of girls are, well, I would say it this way. I am hearing that there are girls that will now skip lunches at schools and not to eat.
I know.
And I
And
don't understand how you combat this, because this is like, who goes to the cafeteria is not a positive moment.
if they're going and they're not cool anymore,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, this is a problem. I mean, it starts on, first of all, we have to keep all our children off of social media. That's a whole nother
Yeah.
conversation. Okay. They shouldn't have phones until they're old enough. They shouldn't be on social media. That's a podcast for another time, but that's a beginning. The other thing is that unfortunately, some of these young girls can't say, they might be hearing it at home. Okay. Or
Yeah.
they might be on social media and they're seeing celebrities who are shrinking, people that they look up to. And I won't mention names, but they look up to them and they're half the size they used to be. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is hard. All we can do is, as parents, as adults, is encourage good behaviors, encourage it, and just
Yeah.
hope that they get through it. All right.
Yes.
Because it does come. I mean, I know peer pressure is so huge, but it's almost like adult pressure is too these days. And that's why it's having to reinforce, but in a healthy manner, meaning healthy in this way, meaning not nagging, trying not to have negative talk, keeping a positive spin on as much as we can.
Okay.
It's hard.
No, it's very hard. It's very hard with girls today. And since
Yes.
I'm raising one,
And it's also with girls today, it's focusing on, we try our best, but focusing not on looks.
yeah.
It's focusing on behaviors. That was a really kind thing you did. Oh my God, that showed you were very brave. Oh my God, you were strong. Other attributes besides, oh, I love your shirt. You look pretty. What did you do with your hair?
Yeah.
What lip gloss are you wearing? Other
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
It's much easier said than done. So let's talk about yoga for a second, because it's all about body and mind. And I think that those two go
Connected.
Yes.
And the only thing I'm going to start with by saying about yoga is that I love when I hear the words, I can't do it, I'm not flexible. And I will argue, well, that's why you should be doing it. Okay. For starters, because it is good to create more flexibility in your body. But the thing is, more flexibility in your body, the whole idea of yoga will be more flexibility also in your mind. So the purpose of yoga, and not to get all like wishy-washy, it's not just on your mat. All right. It's supposed to be off of your mat too. It's really learning to be present. So when you're on your yoga mat, you should be focusing literally on the practice. I mean, it's hard. I can't help but in Shavasana think about food shopping or my to-do list. You're not supposed to. But then again, it's like, all right, so you did. So let it go. Come back to the present. And that's the whole idea. It's moving your body, being mindful. And if you can take some of that mindfulness off the mat into your daily life, that's the true yoga.
So that's how you connect, and then you
That's
go
how
on
it connects. It's
next.
about
Yes,
being present. All
being
right.
yeah.
It's not, and people have this idea, it's not about sitting on a mat and meditating. I mean, I always say, I'm a yoga teacher. I don't meditate. It's not for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
It's just not part of who I am, but that doesn't make me, in my opinion, a worse yogi, maybe in somebody else's. But to me, my meditation is my movement on the mat, which I've also learned then to take off the. What is important is our muscles, without a doubt. Muscle strength, and especially as we get older, we need to maintain. Very, very important. And when it comes to food, protein is very important in our diets. However, this whole thing in today's world, protein, 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 it's kind of getting like a little carried away. Most people do get adequate protein, but as we age, especially like much older, we start to lose our appetite, or those on GLP-1s, they might have less of an appetite. So they need to really be careful that they're not decreasing their protein too low, because we need to protect our muscles. And our muscles need to be maintained, they need to be repaired, and that happens with protein intake.
So when you're working with clients, what do you expect from them, and what do they expect from you? And
Okay.
do you get upset with them when they're
No.
coming in and they're not, and they're lying to you? Oh, I had
Well,
3 apples, and you're
yeah.
like, oh,
No, you
you
didn't.
can't,
Well,
you
right.
didn't have 3 apples.
Right. Carl, that's the problem. Because I expect honesty. And I will say, after doing counseling for so many years, sometimes I'm like, they can't be telling me the truth. They can, I mean, but what am I going to do? I can't really call them out on it. What they expect from me is no judgment. So that's the place, first of all, no, it's a no judgment zone. So that's why I want them to tell me if they didn't eat any apples, or they didn't eat any fruit, or they had a terrible weekend and they drank too much. I want to hear this kind of stuff, because that's the only way that we can figure out how to move forward. So it's really a relationship of trust. They have to trust that I will not judge them. They have to trust that what I'm telling them, I believe is in their best interest. I have to trust that they're telling me the truth, because that's the only way I can help someone. Because if they tell me everything I want to hear, we're not going to get anywhere. It's the same way in therapy. I'm not a therapist with my patients, but yet there's that relationship of trust. And I have to be able to listen and figure out what will work for them, because what's going to work for one might not work with somebody else. There's no one rule fits all in the world of nutrition.
How long do you work with someone for? Like
It varies.
years?
It also depends upon the person's commitment. Hey, just like you said, people get gung-ho at some point, and then all of a sudden it falls off.
Yeah.
But I've had patients that have fallen off and then have called me literally 5 years later. They're like, you know what? I need to check in. I've had patients for for 15 years, I've had a patient. He just checks in like every 4 or 5 months, just checks in just to keep him on the best possible path, because he knows if he has no accountability, then he's might go take a direction on the path in the wrong way. But others, I mean, it really depends. Some people, it's just a year. I've worked with some people for 6 months. They just needed to figure a couple of things out, and then they're on their way. Some people, it's every week. Some people, it's once a month. It totally varies with who the person is and what will work for them.
But I imagine it changes, right? As time goes on, as our diets change over time, we like different things. As we get older, we choose different foods
and
we like.
Our lives change. I've been with women when they were single, going out, dating all the time, going out. Now they're mothers. Their lives are a lot different. I'm not worried about the over drinking on the weekends, okay? Because they're not doing that.
Yeah.
Now I'm worried that maybe they're not fueling their bodies the way they should, because they're so focused on their busy lives with their family. So things change depending on an individual's circumstances.
Well, that's one of the hardest things, is I like to eat my daughter's food off her plate because she has the food that I like.
Well, but she should also be introduced to your food. I mean,
Yes.
I think we shouldn't have kids' menus. Just saying.
Yes.
I don't think there should be kid menus. I think they should offer smaller serving sizes for children. So if we're in a restaurant and wanted a piece of steak, let's say, we shouldn't expect a kid to have a big piece of steak. So let's have smaller serving sizes offered to the children, so there is no kids menu with the foods that we think kids should eat because that's all they want to eat, but do they want to eat that because we weren't
Yeah.
consistent with trying to show them that there are other choices?
And then how would you suggest going to a restaurant and eating? Because you just brought that up, we should have kids menus, but sometimes, or there shouldn't be kids menus, but sometimes when you go to a restaurant, they bring out serving sizes that, three
I know.
meals.
It's so hard. It is so hard. And it's hard not to be from the clean plate club. I mean, depending on the generation you were brought up in, some of us were brought up, me for one, clean plate club. It's how it was. And it takes work to say, you know what? I can leave this over. I'm feeling a little full. Leftovers. I love leftovers. I love taking from a restaurant home, having another meal.
Yeah.
What I feel we should do in restaurants is, and it's not easy, is pick and choose. It depends. If you said to me, and I mean by pick and choose, if you go out all the time, then we need to treat a restaurant more like we would eating at home. Start
Yeah.
with a salad, maybe have a piece of fish, a vegetable. Boring, I know, but if you eat out all the time, or if you hardly eat out, then I don't care what you eat. All right?
Yeah.
Just and eat the whole thing. It doesn't matter. But if you're consistently going out, it's yes, maybe we need to. If you want the piece of bread, maybe it's not the cocktail. If you want the cocktail, maybe it's not the piece of bread. If you love pasta, hey, I eat it all the time. Try not to finish it. Definitely don't have the bread if you're having pasta. Like we have to maneuver things and it can work. Like no foods need to be off limits. It needs to come back to how often do I eat them? What's my serving size look like? If my serving size is huge, well, now it does take a little bit of saying, I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my fork down and I'm going to take this home and eat it
Yeah.
another time. Or
Yeah.
what about sharing? Sharing is great. If you can go out with somebody who will actually share their food, that's always good. Or sometimes, and this is one of those where people are boring, is 2 appetizers. But it also depends upon what your goal is.
Oh.
If somebody was telling me my goal is weight loss, we need to maybe look at that menu a little differently.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will go to a restaurant or we'll go to the diner. And if
Ugh,
my
love a
daughter
diner.
gets French fries, I don't need to get it. So I'll get a burger and then a salad with it.
Perfect.
I'll ask them
I
to
love
change
that.
that. And I'll change it, but I'll have some of her French fries
Hey, some.
because that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, but some is okay. I will
Some's
also
okay.
ask though, but what are you getting on your burger? Are you getting a bacon cheeseburger? Or are you just getting a plain burger?
I get a plain burger
Good.
with tomato,
Well
no
done.
lettuce. I like it well done, no lettuce.
All right,
Don't like lettuce.
I won't judge with the well done. A little red onion? No red onion?
Tomato and red onion, but I don't eat
Good.
the whole. Yes.
Okay. I
That's
mean,
on my
here's the
burger.
I love that you're getting a salad with it. There are options. I
Yeah.
always say to people, and this is one of those boring things, is like if you really wanted the French fries, then lose the bun. Get the
Yeah.
burger without the bun, get the French fries.
Yeah.
How often are you having that meal? That's why
Yeah.
it's not one size fits all.
Yes, correct. And eating's a very complicated.
Because we know it's way more than hunger.
Yes.
Eating is a very complicated thing, and we need to look at where, for so many of us, I hate to say it, and this is also a whole nother episode, is our childhood. How were we
Yeah.
brought up around food? And then how have we worked towards possibly getting rid of some of those behaviors that were ingrained in us, like
Yeah.
the clean plate club, right? Being able to just eat a couple of French fries as opposed to finishing them off.
Yeah.
Or being able to even say, you know what? I don't want the French fries today. I can have them tomorrow. It's not like
Yeah.
you're never going to have them again.
No, correct. You will have them
That's
again.
also sometimes the mentality of people. It's like, oh my God, I'm at the buffet. I need to have everything. No,
Yeah.
you don't need to. You know what some of that tastes like, and you don't necessarily need it. But like at a buffet, I mean, there's not that many anymore. After COVID, we have less and less buffets. But, you do the loop. You walk around it first. You choose where you're going to go. And then you go and get. You don't have to pick from everything on the buffet line. Pick
Correct.
and choose.
As we wrap up, what are the 3 things we can do today to start a healthy lifestyle that you would suggest? Small
All right.
things that we could do.
We have to change our mentality. And I don't know how small that is. All right. So it's being more realistic and setting small goals for ourselves and understanding that Rome wasn't built in a day. And I know that's not small.
Yeah.
So I know you're asking for 3 easy things, and that's not easy. But I think it does start with we have to be more realistic. Okay, so that's number one. I think number two is we have to start thinking about what we should add more to our diets than what we should remove. All right, so it's adding more fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and it's eating less of added sugars, but it's not avoiding them. I'm not saying avoid. I'm saying if we fill our plates with more of the foods we should be eating, maybe the foods we should be eating less of, there won't be as much room for. And then the third thing is really consistency. So whatever we choose, we got to hang in there. And if one day we go to the diner and we have the burger and we have the French fries and we also ate the coleslaw, who cares? It's like, that's okay. It's not like the next day we have to skip a meal. We have to make up for it. No, it's being consistent. It's eating 3 meals a day and it's fueling our bodies in a healthy manner. So I know we asked for 3, but the fourth, I'm sorry, I have to
Okay.
give you a fourth.
No. It's okay.
Because the fourth
It's okay.
is where we get our information from. All right. I really feel strongly that it can be a very confusing world out there with social media, and we're being bombarded with wellness advice. And I think we need to pause and really figure out who to listen to and maybe whose advice is probably best to turn to.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today. What's the podcast?
The Carrie Report.
And they
people
can get
follow, they can listen there. They can also follow me on Instagram at Carrie Gans. Lots of places to connect.
And the book is?
The Small Change Diet.
Okay.
Very important. Small changes, not big.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Carrie Gans. Thank you also for listening. And until next time, be safe, everyone.